France should have too much for Eddie Jones's Japan. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Just glancing at the team that France have picked for this one, and this one feels like a little bit of a mismatch between these two, but all Japan really need is a decent start, hang on into the game for a while, frustrate the crowd, frustrate the French players, and then make it a tighter game than people would have expected. But you still think that France are going to come through in the end, no matter how the game starts. But we're going to have a look at the two teams. So we're going to start with the French team. So front row is Gross, Mauvaka, and Tatafu. The second row is Flamand and Miafu. Back row, Kroos, Roma, and Aldrit. Halfbacks then Dupont and Ramos. Left wing BLBRE. Centres Mofana and Galiton. Then you got Panot on the right wing and Barre as full back. On the bench then they have Marchand, Wardy, Colombe, Guillard, Bodehin, Luku, Jalabert, and Piku. For Japan then we have Okabe, Harada, Takeuchi, Uluiviti, Deans, Shimokawa, Himeno, Makisi, Saito, Tatekawa, Osada, Fifita, Riley, Nakabula, and Tuitama. On the bench then we have Matsuoka, Morikawa, Tamefusa, Fakatawa, Tatafu, Fujiwara, Kajimura, and Matsunaga. Okay, so let's have a closer look at the French team. So front row, Jean-Baptiste Gross, Pito Mauvaka, and Tabita Tatafu. So decent front row for them. Expect them to go well, in set piece and in the loose. Then you got Flamand there in the second row. Guy, has been brilliant the last few years. He's got Miafu there beside him as well. So, a decent pairing there. Then back row, Francois Kroos, brilliant player, been in great form as well. You got Roma at 7, and then you got Aldrit, just Rolls Royce player there at 8 as well. So really strong back row. Then the captain Anton Dupont, and beside him Tomo Ramos. So the really top tier halfback pairing there. Dupont, just such a special player, and it's so difficult to cope with him and to cope with France when he's playing well too. Really hard to keep him quiet, and you basically got to be doing your level best to be putting pressure on them rather than trying to deal with the pressure that he's going to put on you. Then left wing BLBRE, a sensational player out there, and expect special things from him in this game and in the future as well. Centres then Maufana and Galaton. Galaton in good form this season as well. So nice pairing there. Damien Penaud, just try scoring machine there out on the right wing. Then Barre there at full back as well. So another threat there, running the ball back, decent on the high ball too, and then coming in to the line to give options as well. On the bench then you got Marchand, plenty of experience there, Wardy as well, and then Colombe, so decent replacements in the front row. Then you Guillard and Bodehin covering the second and the back row. Then you got Luku. Thought he was really good when he got his chance when Dupont wasn't available, and then you got Jalabert as well. And then Fiku. So you look at the back replacements, and real quality there as well. Yes, Dupont, there aren't many nines in the world that'll be up to his level, but Luku, still going to give you a lot off the bench. Same with Jalabert and Gail Fiku. Probably a little bit disappointed not to be maybe in the starting lineup. Then for Japan, we got Okabe, Harada, and Takeuchi, all guys who were decent around the field, and they're going to, try to get parity into the set piece as well. Japan should be very organized. Eddie Jones, he's been there before. He's back in there. I always say never go back. Or they always say never go back. And I'm not sure it was the best idea for Japan or for Eddie Jones really to go back there. But, Japan felt like they, didn't know where they were going really in terms of, after the last World Cup. So kind of went back to a little bit of security. You got then Uluiviti and Deans as the second row there. So it's going to be, I think, tough for them standing up to the likes of Flamon and Miapu. But if they can do that, then, again, Japan could be pretty, level, kind of at least in the opening stanzas of the game. Then the back row, then you got Shimokawa, Himeno, who is an immense player, and then Makisi there as well. But, with the likes of Kroos and Alderit on the other side as well, it is going to be a big contest for them. Then 9, you got Saito there, and he's got Tatekawa beside him as well. So, a lot of responsibility on them really to make sure that, Japan looking after the ball properly, getting it away from the poachers on that French team as well, and just making sure that they're putting the team in the right areas of the field. Then you got Osada on the left wing, and that centre pairing for Fifita and Riley. Again, up against it, a decent opposition midfield, but these guys, if you give them space and you give them time, they can exploit it. Very quick thinkers, and they're going to be playing, an offloading game and trying to just keep that tempo going and catch France on the hop now and again. Then you got Naikabula, decent finisher on the wing, and Tuitama at the at full back there as well. Then on the bench, we got Matsuoka, Morikawa, and Tamefusa covering the front row. And you look at what's coming off the French bench. These guys really will have to step up if Japan are going to kind of keep it close, in that last kind of 20 minutes or so. Then you got Fakatava and Tatafu, covering the second and the back row. And we got Fujiwara, Kajimura, and Matsunaga as well. They're covering the back. So, a lot kind of on that bench, really. That's kind of where you feel that when France empty their bench, that Japan are maybe going to start to slip behind a little bit from there. But, you hope that, well, for me, having lived in Japan for a long time, hope that Japan can kind of stick in there in the game, but you kind of worry for them as well. They got a bit of pacing from the All Blacks, and now they're facing like a really quality side. And the French team, it's not like not every position is like their first choice player, but it's still a really strong French team that they're facing. And if they don't get a decent start, it could get a little bit messy for them as well. So hopefully Japan can kind of, for the majority of the game at least, stay in there and make France work for the win. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think France are going to win and, probably pull away. It's kind of one of those kind of classic games, right? That's what I feel, at least. Tight, maybe up to about 60 minutes, and then France pull away in the last 20 or so and just put a bit of a cherry on top of the cake. But yeah, that's my opinion on that one. We'll see how it actually goes when they play each other.